RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back. It's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this is your Bloody Happy Hour. Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody happy hour.
Hey y'all, this is April.
Oh, hey there.
Oh, Caroline.
This is Caroline.
She's just reading the paper. What paper is that?
Oh, it's the We Save Balls paper.
Manscaped Daily News.
It is. Have you never received this in your mail?
No, but I have it now.
You must have not purchased the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped.com.
Well, if y'all haven't, you should go right now to Manscaped.com, put in the code BHH, and you get 20% off that performance package. Caroline, what else? What else comes in the package?
We have the Lawnmower 4.0. We have the Weed Whacker. We have the ball deodorant spray.
And the toner
spray. You get boxers. You get this fancy little bag. I mean, you get so many things.
Yes.
In this package.
Weed Whacker. And let me tell you, I have some reviews right now.
Tell us.
Because last week was test market week.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Did you test them on your balls?
I actually couldn't because Sweet Pea and Trent were basically fighting over it. It was like a wrestling match in the living room.
Wow.
So basically, Sweet Pea loves it. And he works nights, so he did all the whole routine before he went to work, like after the shower. And so he drives, and then he works the dock. Got a blue collar man, y'all.
Yeah.
And I was like, so how did your balls feel the next morning after working the dock? And he was like, man, they're still so fresh and like so fresh and so clean.
So you let him teabag you. Or wait, you teabagged him. I don't know how it goes.
Yeah,
but
I don't know how it
either
goes.
way, I'm sure there was some teabagging involved.
Either way, guys, that is some male reviews. But females, my female cousin, uses these on her area.
Oh, before this?
She's been using it. Yes.
Whoa.
So she heard our thing, saw our post, and she was like, I love Manscaped, and now I'm going to get a discount.
Oh, hell yes.
She's been using it on her vajayjay. So, y'all, guess what? Manscaped is equal opportunity.
Absolutely. And I have some friends who are already asking about it.
Love it.
And I told them how it smells so good. It's amazing.
It does smell great. So there's a little bit of reviews. Boxers, if you're active, guess what? They don't ride. They are very comfortable. And so there's some of the feedback. And I'm going to call out 2 of our male listeners that are real bougie.
Uh-huh.
And guess what? Both of their name is Matt. So Matt Dixon, get you some. Matt Bujo, I know you're bougie. Tell Blanche to go on and order you a performance package.
And guys, this performance package, you can get this offer. It is worldwide. So you can be in, you would think Italy, and you can order manscaped.com. If you are our Italy listener right now, go ahead.
We have a couple.
20% off. Use the code BHH, manscaped.com. There you go.
Free shipping.
10 million clean shaved balls. What more can you ask for?
There we go. It's Quickie time, y'all. And I know Caroline has some news. I know you do. Would it be?
There is some news. First of all, we have a little. Let me tell you what I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna give you a tiny little Debbie Collier update. We got a little bit of a Scott Peterson
and
update.
a Kyli Rodni update.
I don't know the Kyli Rodni update, so you'll give that, and then I'm gonna finish off with some of the Darrell Brooks trial, because if I had to sit through it, I'm gonna make you all have a little 10-minute sit through.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So you're welcome.
So Kyli Rodni. She's
no,
the
we're
girl.
starting off in order. Debbie Collier.
What's the order? Go.
Debbie Collier.
Okay.
So it's really short. Basically, they're saying that they're no longer going to rule this a homicide, which means what's left? Suicide? They're saying that accidental. I don't know how you accidentally get tied to a tree and burn yourself and you're naked. So the reason that they're doing this is because the family is saying that they have no involvement, and like the brother came out and he's mad at the police for even suggesting it, and so now I think these cops are the same cops that were working the Kyli Rodni case. I don't know.
They have to be,
because
you know who else said that they weren't involved in their family member's murder? Chris Watts.
Oh. Yeah.
And every other husband, Michael Peterson, Scott Peterson, all the Petersons. Every other murder ever. So, I mean, what did they expect him to say? We were involved?
Exactly. That also reminds me of Quentin. We talked about him.
Yes.
Quentin Simon. His mom is still in the area. She's still saying she has nothing to do with it.
Not arrested.
Apparently her, Leilani, the mom, and Leilani and her mom, so mom and grandma, were like, they went out to some bar. They were there for like 3 hours, tequila shots, just like living it up, trying to get the bartender to have drinks with them. Yes, recently. Okay. So they're not like really out like looking for him.
Yeah.
You know? And the police, I just looked on their Twitter yesterday, and they are just still like, we're doing everything we can. We want to do this right. We're looking in landfills, and we're still waiting. They still cannot make an arrest on her. They don't have enough evidence, and she says that she won't run. But I mean, she says that until she finds out she's going to be arrested, then she's going to run.
I saw Mom's interview, and she was really emotional. Grandma really wasn't, but they seemed like they were kind of a united front. And remember, like, Mom was kicking her out and talking about how toxic it was. Mm-hmm. So it is it is so sketchy.
Go for Kyli Rodni, and I'm gonna go Scott Peterson.
Kyli Rodni. Okay, so y'all know Debbie Collier, right? She's the one that was from Georgia. So Kyli Rodni, we told you the story about the same time. She was the young girl, and we already told you that they ruled it not a murder. It was suicide, basically. Well, what we didn't have at that time were the toxicology results that came back. So we wanted to know, did she have drugs in her system? If they're saying that it was suicide or accidental, that she was drunk enough to drive herself, then what was her, not BPA, ABV?
BAC?
BAC. It was barely 0.8, which is the legal, barely 0.8. And she is so little that's probably like 2 or 3 drinks. So I would not think that she was that drunk to drive into the car. Also, after you've been dead for a while, your body excretes ethanol, which is what they test for alcohol. Yeah. So part of that is just natural excretion from her being dead. So it's very little alcohol. Like I'm pretty sure we wake up daily with 0.08 alcohol.
For sure.
Volume. Maybe not daily.
Probably more.
Almost. So that just behooves me anymore. But as of right now.
Especially because Sammy, her friend, was out there saying how drunk she was.
Yeah.
So I feel like they've closed this case in my brain.
Yeah.
Because they are this small town who has some shady stuff going on, it seems like. So I don't know if we'll hear anything. I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the last updates for a while. I think the only way we hear something else is if the parents do sell their house, move, and they get like whatever their version of Texas Rangers or
if
FBI
they're even interested. It seems like
something.
they're not even interested.
Wow.
We'll see. So then we have Scott Peterson. So he's recently been moved off of death row.
All that.
He just turned 50. So Scott Peterson, he was originally sentenced to death for the murder of his wife, Lacey Peterson, and their unborn son, Connor. And in 2020, the Supreme Court of California ruled this punishment was unconstitutional because the trial court improperly dismissed potential jurors who basically voiced opposition to capital punishment. So the judge now has to rule on whether he will get a new trial. And the defense over here is arguing that the trial, one of the trial jurors purposefully omitted from the juror questionnaire that she was a victim of an alleged domestic violence incident. So lied on her form.
Yeah.
And she basically did that in order to get a seat on the jury.
I would do something like that. They would ask something like, if you're half black, you can't be on the jury. And I would be like,
I'm white.
No, all white, all Mexican, Indian, everything else just to be on the jury. But look at what kind of repercussions that has. That lawyer
And it's
is
been
badass.
25 years.
That lawyer, whoever figured that out, is badass. You know what type of DTF that took to figure that out? Because I thought you didn't sign, like you don't check yes or no. I thought they asked you.
I heard like her reasoning, and I'm assuming she maybe came up with this like, oh, well, I didn't really think it was pertaining to that specific incident or something like that.
Yeah.
And I could see myself and being like, well, does that really count? But if it's something that's out there and if there's a record of it, which I'm assuming there has to be some kind of record of it, then that's when you do need to check the box or something. I don't know.
Or get up and walk out. Wow. I would not be surprised if this man walks free.
So I feel like he is going to get a new trial.
Oh, he is.
But hopefully he'll still be found guilty.
We'll see.
Listen, I'm here for every second of that trial. I'm already booked. I'm already booked in January for the Murdaugh murders.
Oh, goodness. I might watch that trial.
Okay, here we go. I've been busy. I've been watching the Darrell Brooks trial. April didn't know much about it, but I'm about to tell her and I'm about to tell all y'all. But here's a little clip, first of all. Oh.
Call yourself a judge as much as bias you could put up in here. Don't even tell the jury the truth. Got no integrity whatsoever. None. None.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated.
And he doesn't sit down. This is how the whole entire trial goes.
I would like an update on whether Mr. Brooks filled out a subpoena for Dawn Woods and provided that to the state.
Dawn Woods is
Has
his
that
mom.
been done?
No, we haven't received anything, Your Honor, and obviously she can appear here voluntarily if Mr. Brooks wants to arrange that. I don't believe a subpoena is necessary. We had subpoenaed her, and she was under state subpoena. So I know that at least some point she had notice, but
This is the DA.
our position would be, Your Honor, that we will not be responsible in any fashion for producing Miss Woods. Mr. Brooks talks to her on a daily basis. If he wants her here, he can produce her on Monday.
Yeah, they ain't got to worry about that.
So I just wanted to know, because I know subpoena form was filled out.
If I want her to be here, she going to be here.
I agree with
So
the state
just
that
know that.
She could certainly appear.
It ain't even got to be no arrangement. All I got to say is come. She going to come. That simple.
Mr. Brooks, do you intend to call her as a witness? Because I'm directing you to have her here at 9
We said all
a.m.
that at the beginning, man. Like, I don't even want to be in here that much longer. Just do what you got to do so I can get up out of here. I'm tired of being in the courtroom that has no integrity whatsoever. How can you even call yourself a
Mr.
judge?
Brooks, I need to make a record of
I need to make a record, too.
You don't
When
need
am
to-
I going to get the chance to do that?
All right, I need to make a record. He's being removed to the other courtroom. He is yelling at me. He's not going to let me make a statement or make the record that I need to make.
I'm finna
He
leave
hasn't
anyway,
sat
so
down
we'll do it now.
for the better part of 2
All
hours.
you want. You can hold me in contempt all you want.
I'm not holding you in
All gotta do is
contempt.
tell me if it's criminal or civil, so I can hit you what you
I need to
what
clear
you
the
know is
courtroom because
coming.
I do need
I'm
to
gonna give
make-
you what you know is coming.
I need him to go to the
If
other
it's civil,
courtroom because I do need to put some
if
things
it's
on the
civil,
record. The record should
Where's the
reflect
contract between you and I?
that Mr. Brooks
If it's
is
criminal,
yelling at me.
what is the crime?
He is.
Who makes the claim? And what
He
is
is I will make the record when we get back. I will step off, but Mr. Brooks, you're being
It ain't
taken
no
to the
Mr.
next
Ain't no Mr.
courtroom.
Brooks. Don't try to address me
Thank
like
you.
that, like we cool. You don't have no integrity. How can you even call yourself a judge? Making tacit agreements, being biased, judicial misconduct, trying to steal somebody's system.
And he keeps going and going and going. That is it.
Listen, that is flashbacks of a classroom. Like there's so many classrooms with kids like that. The judge is the teacher. That's the ED kid or the oppositional defiant kid that always has to have the last word, is always going to be right. That is like everyday life for some of our teachers, classroom teachers. Every day, like there's a student, I bet every teacher out there can name a student that reminds them of. It's crazy.
Well, then what do they do?
And now a word from our sponsors.
RogueCon 23. That's right. It is here. It's not back. It's here. It's the first one. Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It is all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues, January 20th through the 22nd of 2023. Now, if you want to go, you got to get tickets, and tickets are on sale at RogueCon23.com. That's RogueCon, RogueCon 23.com. Be there. I'm going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Let's go.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on RogueMediaNetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
911, what's your emergency?
Do you hear that? It's coming from the house.
It's coming from inside the house? Do you mean, could it be?
The Poltergeist. New from Rogue Media. Two haunted hotties talking about haunted places. Every episode, we dive deep into the darkest places and give you a bit of history.
We're getting spooky in all the right places.
You've gobbled your last ghoul.
Follow along for the craziest and spookiest stories with Debbie's Dark Tourism. The Stanley Hotel,
Winchester House,
The Alamo,
Hotel Monte Vista,
and more spooky places. Find us at _Poltergals. POLTERGALS.
Look over your shoulder. It's us,
The Poltergals. Wherever you consume the podcast, you can find us there.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at RogueMediaNetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
The damn judge couldn't do anything.
Well, so the reason that she can't do anything is because he has nothing to lose. Like, she can't hold him in contempt because what does that do? Bring him to jail? He's already in jail, most likely for life. He has nothing bad that's going to come from it. So there's really no consequences he can face.
Same thing in the classroom. You take them to ISS. They've been there
They go there
forever.
for 3 days. They come back. They're the same.
Yeah. Go to DAP. Do the same thing there.
Well, I
guarantee he was like that in the classroom. His teachers are probably like, this motherfucker's never changed.
First of all, I don't know why he's not already in jail, because he has assault he's assault, strangulation. He's already run over somebody, ran over his girlfriend. He actually got this is ex-girlfriend, got her pregnant when she was 15 in Nevada. So that's a minor because he's like 15 years older than her.
Damn.
So he has a rap sheet. They didn't bring in that in court because that would be a whole nother thing. So sum it up. This is the Waukesha, Wisconsin Christmas parade killings that happened November 2021, which this was a fast trial because it was happening within a year. So he was, as of last week, he was found guilty on all 76 counts. So there were 6 people who died. He, in this parade, ran over people. It's like they were playing their band instruments. He would run over somebody. They hit the windshield, went over the car, and then he would hit one person he hit, and then just rolled over them, and then just kept driving. And he injured over 60 people.
Wow.
One lady came and testified, and she had 3 kids that were hurt. She said she didn't know where 2 of her kids were because she couldn't find them, and they had life-threatening injuries. One of them had their tibia was sticking out of their leg, and the police had a tourniquet, and luckily that saved the kid's life. Otherwise, he would have died. But very, very severe injuries for some of these little kids, and one little 6 or 8 year old boy died. And then there was 5 others that did as well. So he's going through this trial, and to put it in so when they're reading out these the instructions for the jury, you've been on jury, I've never been on jury.
Yeah.
Typically, how long does that take? A few minutes?
Yeah.
It took about 5 to 7 hours to read the jury instructions.
Because he kept interrupting?
Yes, and because there were so many. There were 76. She had to read all of these things, for every single victim.
Oh.
She has to read it's like you're reading the same thing over and over, but a different name is attached to every person.
Wow.
So he was very difficult, to say the least.
Obviously.
He's using the sovereign citizen tactic, which I'll tell you about in a second. And he was overly disrespectful, defiant. He argued with the judge over and over. They would have to send him to the separate courtroom with a monitor and an AV system. So that's how he would communicate with them. But the judge had the ability to mute him. So if he would start yelling at her, she could mute him. And if the jury was in there, so she could also mute him if he is saying things that's going to compromise him, because she's trying to protect him so she can protect the trial, because she does not want a mistrial.
Go through that shit again. Yeah.
So at one point he was muted, but the jury was out, but he was yelling so loud from this other room. They could hear, I could hear, you could hear him yelling, because he's just on another level, just defiant. So she's trying to maintain the composure of the courtroom. She doesn't want him to have any disadvantages. He did his opening statement, and it was fine. It was decent. But then when it came to him calling witnesses, he basically, a lot of the stuff that he did was at the beginning of pretrial and stuff, he had attorneys. He fired them probably right before they did jury selection.
Oh.
So he used all of their notes. So the witnesses who were all on the list, who maybe the defense or the prosecution was going to call, he called he wanted to call 13 witnesses. And all these people, it was just because they were on this list. He didn't know. Like, half the people he called, like, they didn't, two of the guys, like, they did not, none of them liked him. He had no witnesses on his side. So he called them, and it was to his disadvantage.
Oh.
And he also tried to call the state of Wisconsin.
How do you do that?
You don't.
Come on, states.
So, yes, sir, you can't call a state because he was arguing, how can they put a case against me? Where's the plaintiff? Who's the plaintiff? And they're like, the state of Wisconsin is the plaintiff. Well, I don't see the state of Wisconsin here.
Oh, God.
Like, this is what...
He has authority issues.
He just had to be in control the whole time. So then it was time to call some witnesses. He's called a few, and then he said he had a few more. The judge, it gets to where it's the last day, where his final witnesses are supposed to come up. Then he refuses to call his witnesses, and he refuses. And then she's like, okay, well, how about you? Are you wanting to testify on your own behalf? And he would not acknowledge if he was going to testify or not. So then she basically is like, you're done. After stating case laws and all this stuff, she closes his defense because he won't call his last witness. His mom did not show up like he said she would show up. She didn't show, and he did not testify.
Can't she get in trouble for not showing up?
No,
when you're subpoenaed?
No. He didn't subpoena her.
Oh, I thought the other people said that they subpoenaed.
Oh, well,
her.
they did, but I don't know how that all works.
Okay.
But he was like, I ain't got to subpoena my mom. She's going to show up. She's going to show up. So the defense, which is him, rests the case because the judge did it for him. So the game that he played was, I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Anytime something came up, he just said he didn't understand. Well, he was making like cogent and like cognizant arguments some of the time. So you knew that he did understand what he was talking about. But he would just play this. And the judge like warned him at length, and would give him so much more leeway than he deserved and than any other lawyer would ever get with the stuff that he was trying to say. And then finally it came to closing arguments, and he would have to be sent to the other room and then come back, and then sent to the other room and come back. It probably took 2 hours just to start closing arguments. The prosecution gave their closing arguments. It was very, very powerful. Yeah. At the end of it, they played a picture slideshow, which they didn't show the TV. They just showed them, but they showed the judge's face and the prosecution's face, and you could just see they would just do like, eyes closed for a second or two, mouth gestures, just like, because I'm sure it showed pictures of people who had been run over and just how horrible it was. And then, of course, at the very end of it, she's like, let's take a little break. And then he's like, objection, subject matter jurisdiction, Your Honor, which nobody even knows what that means. It means nothing.
I'm going to start saying it.
So basically, he finally did his closing arguments. He brings up things that he's not supposed to bring up, which is something called jury nullification. And that's basically where it's the idea of if jurors don't like a law, that they can just ignore it. And you're not allowed to say that during a closing argument. The judge gives those instructions to the jury, not the lawyers. So he's saying over and over, he's going to be telling that to the jury, like that basically like the law is bullshit and you can ignore it. And so they finally get to where he does his closing, and he starts saying how he's been, they say you can't say you've been like railroaded and it's his bias and this, but he starts to say all this stuff, and then they object, and they finally like shut him down, and he goes into, he has no regrets, his conscience is clear, that he never said that it was not him. He never said he was not guilty. He never told them to find him not guilty, which those are the things that you can say during closing. He said to the jury, do what's in your heart, do what you think is right, and that he's a Christian. And he's read the Bible. Ever since he came out the womb.
Oh, goodness.
He has been told about the Bible, and he carried that Bible around that courtroom, and he always had it up on that monitor screen like he was reading the Bible, and she was like, I never seen a page turn out of that Bible.
I hate when people use
And
the
he
Bible.
said that this was God's will and that they needed to just decide however they need to decide. And it was bad. You're going to have to go watch it. The jury came back very fast.
Like in a minute.
Like very, very long enough to check mark every single one of those pieces of papers that they had. So guilty on all counts. As they're reading off the verdict, somebody in the background yells out, burn in hell, you piece of shit.
Okay, yeah. Gets
kicked out of the courtroom. It was a family member of one of the victims who had been there for the whole entire trial. And then on yesterday, it will be yesterday, October 31st, they are going to have a sentencing to determine how much time is needed for, or they're going to, yes,
victim.
yeah, they're going to have a hearing to determine how much time is needed for the sentencing.
So there was only one death. No, how many deaths?
Six deaths. Excuse me, Siri.
6 deaths.
6 deaths, over 60 injuries. 60.
Okay, so it'll be like each injury may have so many amount of
so
years or something.
he's looking up to, I think it's six consecutive life sentences plus like 579 extra years or something like that.
Do it.
And so when they're shut up, fuck you, Siri. She's talking to me. So they're going to have victim impact statements, and they're going to see if Brooks has any people who's going to come and speak on his behalf and like try to
obviously
help reduce the sentencing.
It's too late.
And then they'll just figure out. Hopefully, y'all, it's just hopefully this community, because it's like affected this whole entire community, and they can eventually start healing. Oh, sovereign citizen. They believe in the U.S. Constitution, but they don't recognize the state's constitution or power. So he's basically saying that it's just all bullshit is what it is. And this happens randomly, and this happens every so often where these people will come in and they claim that they're sovereign citizens. He doesn't know who's Darrell Brooks. I'm not Darrell Brooks. You can't convict me because that's not me.
That you got to be a different kind of crazy.
And I did learn one other thing that I wasn't sure if he could have a attorney for sentencing because it's a whole different part.
Yeah.
I've heard that he can. I've heard that he can get if he wants to. He can, which that would be interesting. If I don't know how that would help or whatever.
I don't know how that would help because it's ultimately the jury that's going to decide, and then the judge in some states can agree with that or override that, or
and I think they might.
I don't know what a lawyer's going to do.
I think 856 life sentences plus 859 years. And one thing that might come up at sentencing is restitution, which when you commit a crime, you can be held responsible for financial consequences. Which you kind of think, well, okay,
how?
He's not going to, nothing's going to happen because, you have major life of loss, you have funeral costs, you have pain and suffering, stuff like that. But apparently the person can go to prison and they can have certain privileges to make their stay more comfortable. And in order to get those privileges, they have to work. They have to work in the kitchen. They got to work in the yard, whatever they have to do. And then that way, I don't know if they make like 25 cents an hour, but they rely on that to get like deodorant and go take a shower or whatever. And you basically can make their stay more uncomfortable.
And do you get that money?
By them having to pay restitution, they would have to pay like a certain percentage of that. So you can still say, I guess you can still say, I want restitution. And then they can have to pay that certain percentage. So then they have to even work harder or whatever. So basically, I don't know.
He's not going to last in prison.
I think that it makes it to where he can't profit from his story in any way. Can you tell? I've been listening to a bunch of attorneys.
Wow. That's why she hasn't responded to any text. She's been missing.
When there's a trial on, I do go missing. I do. So there's your quickie. I hope it was quick enough for you, but I had to get that in because I needed to just talk about it.
Yay, Darrell Brooks. He's the worst of the worst.
Oh, the worst.
The worst of the worst. And those poor families.
Mm.
I mean, can you imagine, like, we just had the Baylor parade, right? Can you imagine, like, all these families are getting up, they're getting their kids ready, they're getting their bags for candy. You're so excited, and then somebody comes plowing through.
Just zigzagging through, like.
You don't go to a parade thinking anything like that would happen.
No.
That's horrible. Okay, y'all, we hope you enjoyed it. If you have not yet, go to manscaped.com. And where are they going to enter, Caroline?
BHH as the promo code for the performance package.
20% off, and it is shipped to you free. Let me tell you, people are loving this ball deodorant. Caroline's got it on for perfume right now.
I love it.
I thought you smelled so good.
I know.
Y'all, we will see y'all Thursday. I got a crazy story for you. We're going to Crazy Town. Don't forget to
say where.
Stay alive.
And always be DTF.
Go rate, review, and subscribe.
Bye.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Join the ultimate celebration of digital content with its creators, passionate fans, and industry experts. It's all happening in downtown Waco across multiple venues on January 20th through the 22nd, 2023. Tickets are on sale now at roguecon23.com.